In today's lesson, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions. Now, at Bailey's birthday party, there were 2 pies. One was apple, one was blueberry. Now, both pies had 8 slices. There was 3/8 of the apple pie was left over and 2/8 of the blueberry pie was left over. How many total slices of pie were left over? Well, in order to determine how many slices of pie were left over, we're going to have to add these 2 fractions. So we want to add 3/8 plus 2/8. Now here's the way that you add or subtract fractions. They're done in 3 steps. The first step is make sure that the denominators are the same. Second thing is to go ahead and add or subtract the numerators, keeping the denominator. And 3 is to simplify the fraction. So let's have a look at these 2 fractions that we're going to add. Step number 1, make sure the denominators are the same. If we look at our denominators, we can see that they are the same. Step number 2, we're going to add the numerators. So we're going to add 3 plus 2. Notice that we keep the same denominator. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so we have 5/8. Step number 3 says to simplify the fraction. And if we look at 5 and 8, we can see that they have no factors in common. So this is as simple as it will go, so that is simplified. Now what that tells us is that there is 5 slices of pie left over, or 5/8 of a pie is left. Now subtract the following, 6/8 minus 4/8. Again, following 3 steps, make sure the denominators are the same. If we look at our denominators, we can see that they are, in fact, the same. So then step number 2 says to go ahead and subtract the numerators. So we're going to subtract 6 minus 4. Notice that we keep the denominator the same. Never, never, never add or subtract the denominators. Once you find the denominators that are the same, then you only have to add or subtract the numerators. It's very important. And 6 minus 4 is 2, so we have 2/8. Then step number 3 says to simplify the fraction. And we know that 2 is actually a factor of 8. So we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And so now our fraction is simplified. So 6/8 minus 4/8 equals 1/4. Add the following, 5/10 plus 1/10. Again, step number 1, make sure the denominators are the same. And in our fractions, we can see that the denominators are already the same. Step number 2 then says to add the numerators. Again, notice that we keep the denominator the same. We do not add the denominators. But we do add the numerators, 5 plus 1. And 5 plus 1 is 6, so we have 6/10. Step number 3 says that we need to simplify the fraction, and these are both even numbers, so we know that 2 is a factor. So we can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we can say that 5/10 plus 1/10 is equal to 3/5. Now, Jenny practiced the flute twice today. In the morning, she practiced for 2/6 of an hour. In the afternoon, she practiced for 3/6 of an hour. How long did Jenny practice today? All right, to determine how long she practiced, we're going to have to add the 2 lengths of time that she practiced. So that means we're going to have to take 2/6 and add 3/6. So again, 3 easy steps. Make sure the denominator is the same. And when we look at our denominators, they are already the same. So we can move to step number 2, which is to go ahead and add the numerators. So 2 plus 3, again, notice that the denominator, we keep the denominator the same. We do not add the denominators. Then 2 plus 3 equals 5, so we have 5/6. Step number 3 says to simplify the fraction, and since 5 and 6 have no factors in common, it is already as simple as it can go. So we have simplified the fraction. So Jenny practiced the flute for 5/6 of an hour. Now Leah's hair was 4/5 of a meter, and then her mom chopped off 2/5 of a meter. How long is Leah's hair now? Well, to determine how long Leah's hair is now, we have to subtract the fractions. Since her mom cut hair off, that means that we have to find the difference because she has less hair. So that's subtract. So subtract 4/5 minus 2/5. Step number 1, make sure the denominators are the same, and we can see that they are. So we can move to step 2, which is to subtract the numerators, keeping the denominator the same. So 4 minus 2 gives us 2, so we have 2 over 5. Step number 3 says to simplify the fraction, and we can see that there are no common factors, or there are no factors of 2 and 5, so it is already as simple as it can go. So we can say that Leah's hair is 2/5 of a meter long. And that is your lesson on adding and subtracting fractions.